King Laius of Thebes was the third in descent from Cadmus. He married a distant cousin, Jocasta. With their reign, Apollo's oracle at Delphi began to play a leading part in the family's fortunes. Apollo was the god of truth. Whatever the priestess at Delphi said would happen infallibly come to pass. To attempt to act in such a way that the prophecy would be made void was as futile as to set oneself against the decrees of fate. Nevertheless, when the oracle warned Laius that he would die at the hands of his son, he determined that this should not be. When the child was born, he bound its feet together and had it exposed on a lonely mountain where it must soon die. He felt no more fear. He was sure that on this point he could foretell the future better than the god. His folly was not brought home to him. He was killed, indeed, but he thought the man who attacked him was a stranger. He never knew that in his death he had proved Apollo's truth. When he died, he was away from home and many years had passed since the baby had been left on the mountain. It was reported that a band of robbers had slain him together with his attendants, all except one, who brought the news home. The matter was not carefully investigated because Thebes was in sore straits at the time. The country around was beset by a frightful monster, the Sphinx, a creature shaped like a winged lion, but with the breast and face of a woman. She lay in wait for the wayfarers along the road to the city, and whomever she seized, she put a riddle to, telling him if he could answer it, she would let him go. No one could, and the horrible creature devoured man after man until the city was in a stage of siege. The 7 great gates, which were the Thebans' pride, remained closed, and the famine drew near to the citizens. So matters stood when there came into the stricken country a stranger, a man of great courage and great intelligence, whose name was Oedipus. He had left his home in Corinth, where he was held to be the son of the king, Oedipus, and the reason for his self-exile was another Delphic oracle. Apollo had declared that he was fated to kill his father. He, too, like Laius, thought to make it impossible for the oracle to come true. He resolved never to see Oedipus again. In his lonely wanderings, he came into the country around Thebes, and he heard what was happening there. He was a homeless, friendless man to whom life meant a little, and he determined to seek the Sphinx and try to solve the riddle.
What creature goes on 4 feet in the morning, on 2 at noonday, on 3 in the evening?
Man. In childhood, he creeps on hands and feet. In manhood, he walks erect. In old age, he helps himself with a staff.
It was the right answer. The Sphinx, inexplicably, but most fortunately, killed herself. The Thebans were saved. Oedipus gained all and more than he had left. The grateful citizens made him their king, and he married the dead king's wife, Jocasta. For many years they lived happily. It seemed that in this case Apollo's words have been proved to be false. But when their 2 sons had grown to manhood, Thebes was visited by a terrible plague. A blight fell upon everything. Not only men were dying throughout the country, the flocks and herds and the fruits of the field were blasted as well. Those who were spared death by disease faced death by famine. No one suffered more than Oedipus.
Crayon, this whole menace must stop. I want you to go to Delphi and consult Apollo. So what are we going to do to stop the burden of my people?
As you wish, my king.
Crayon returned from Delphi with the good news.
Apollo had declared that the plague would be stayed upon one condition,
Whoever had murdered King Laius must be punished.
It was such a relief to hear that. I want you, Creon, to call all the people of Thebes. I will announce a decree that will punish that scoundrel.
As you wish, my king.
The people of Thebes gathered to hear Oedipus say these words.
Let no one of this land give shelter to him. Bar him from your homes, as one defiled, companioned by pollution. And solemnly I pray, may he who killed wear out his life in evil, being evil.
Oedipus took the matter in hand with energy. He sent for Tiresias, the old blind prophet, the most revered of Thebans.
Tiresias, do you have any means to know who killed King Laius?
To his amazement and indignation, the seer at first refused to answer.
For the love of God, if you have knowledge,
Fools, all of you, I will not answer.
why would you not talk, Tiresias? Are you hiding something? Or are you a part of this crime? That is why you plead for silence.
The prophet was angered with this, and with heavy heart he said,
You are yourself the murderer you seek. You killed King Laius.
What are you saying, old man? That is downright stupid. Get this man out of my sight, and I do not want to see his face again.
Jocasta treated the prophet's oracle with scorn.
Neither prophets nor oracles have any sure knowledge.
Yes, my queen. There's no perfect thing in this world. Even oracles can be wrong.
The priestess at Delphi once had prophesied that Laius will die in the hand of his son. Laius and I decided that it should not happen, so we get the child killed, and Laius was murdered by robbers, where 3 roads meet on the way to Delphi.
When Oedipus heard it, she gave her a strange look and asked her,
When did all of these events happen?
Just before you came to Thebes. They were 5 in all. All are killed but one.
I must see that man. Send for him.
I will at once, my king, but I have the right to know what is in your mind.
You shall know all that I know. I went to Delphi just before I came here, because a man had flung it in my face that I was not the son of Polybus. I went to ask the god. He did not answer me, but he told me horrible things, that I should kill my father, marry my mother, and have children men would shudder to look upon. I never went back to Corinth. On my way from Delphi, at a place where the 3 roads met, I came upon a man with 4 attendants. He tried to force me from the path. He struck me with a stick. Angered, I fell upon them and I killed them. Could it be the leader was Laius?
The one man left alive brought back a tale of robbers. Laius was killed by robbers, not by his son, the poor innocent who died upon the mountain.
As they talked, a further proof seemed given them that Apollo could speak falsely. A messenger came from Corinth to deliver a sad news.
King Oedipus, I'm sorry to deliver the sad news that the King Polybus of Corinth is dead.
O oracle of the god, where are you now? The man died but not by his son's hand.
After hearing the queen's words, the messenger smiled wisely and uttered,
Did the fear of killing your father drive you from Corinth? King, you were in error. You never had reason to fear, for you were not the son of Polybus. He brought you up as though you were his, but he took you from my hands.
Oedipus was startled by the revelation and afterwards asked,
Where did you get me? Who were my father and mother?
I know nothing of them. A wandering shepherd gave you to me, a servant of Laius.
Jocasta's face turned white. A look of horror was on her face.
Why waste a thought upon what such a fellow says? Nothing he can say matter.
My birth does not matter. What is wrong with you, Jocasta?
For God's sake, go no further. My misery is enough.
Jocasta broke away and rushed into the palace. At that moment, an old man entered. He and the messenger eyed each other curiously, and then the messenger exclaimed,
The very man, O king, the shepherd who gave you to me.
And you, old man, do you know him as he knows you?
The old man did not answer. But the messenger insisted.
You must remember me. You once gave me a little child you had found, and the king hears that child.
Curse you! Hold your tongue!
What? You would conspire with him to hide me from what I desire to know? There are ways, be sure, to make you speak.
Oh, do not hurt me. I did give him the child, but do not ask more. My king, for the love of God.
If I have to order you a second time to tell me where you got him, you are lost.
Ask your lady. She can tell you the best.
She gave him to you?
Oh yes, oh yes. I was to kill the child. There was a prophecy.
A prophecy? That he would kill his father?
Yes.
A cry of agony came from the king. At last, he understood.
All true. Now shall my light be changed to darkness. I am accursed. I murdered my father. I murdered my father's wife, my own mother. There was no help for me. For her, my children, all were accursed.
Within the palace, Oedipus wildly sought for his wife, that was his mother. He found her in her chamber. She was dead. When the truth broke upon her, she had killed herself. Standing beside her, he too turned his against himself, but not to end his life. He changed his light to darkness.
What's done was well done. I do not want to see this cursed world that I'm living in anymore.
He put out his eyes. The black world of blindness was a refuge. Better to be there than to see with strange, shamed eyes the world that had been so bright.